හරිම සුමුදුයි.
Tonight on First at 9, this Tuesday, the 23rd of April 2024. Mega development. Uma Oya multi-purpose development project to be vested in the public tomorrow. Iran's president to visit Sri Lanka for the inauguration ceremony. Marching to 2050. Need to decide on an education system suitable for 2050, says the president. The military inquisition. Army appoints 7-member committee headed by a major general to probe the Fox Hills tragedy. No survivors. 10 crew members die in fatal helicopter crash during military rehearsals in Malaysia. And the Queen of Cricket, Sri Lankan skipper Chamari Athapattu claims the top spot in women's one-day international batting rankings.
ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දෙනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9 with Ndivari Amuata and Mahish Jani. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
A very good evening, everyone. Welcome to First at 9. Good to see you once again. And apparently, we are back on the news desk after a short period of time. Apparently, both of us were sick.
You were. And I kept promising our viewers that you will be back on the show, and then I took a break to join you in, recovering.
Good to see you once again, Poyade. Everybody's tucked in and hope fully watching the news in order to know what is happening all around our nation and the world. Lots of stories.
Lots of stories, but first of all, very good evening to all of you. A very warm welcome wherever you're watching us from. I'm sure, as Mahish said, you're at home and watching our news to have the very latest. Of course, the headlines, we did see an update on the Fox Hill tragic accident in Diatalava, and separate probes are being conducted by the police and the military as well. We see an update on the military probe. And in Malaysia as well, another tragedy strikes as Navy helicopters collide mid-air.
Exactly. Apparently,
news.
April seems to be reminding people about a lot of tragedies. 5 years ago, we experienced a tragedy of our own 21st of April, which was the Easter Sunday massacre. And here we are 5 years down the line. We see similar things happening in this particular month. Tomorrow is going to be a very important day for this country because 2 years back we talked about electricity being an issue. Now tomorrow, apparently one of the projects that is being geared to bring in more electricity will take shape and take into the grid.
Certainly, and this is a landmark project that has been discussed, but more than a decade of implementation of the project. And I think it's best we start off the discussion, the news tonight, with that as our top story.
So 14 years since the commencement of its construction, the Uma Oya multi-purpose development project funded by the Iranian government will be vested in the public tomorrow.
The ceremony to inaugurate the project will be attended by President Ranil Wickremesinghe and his Iranian counterpart, President Dr. Ibrahim Raisi, who is currently on an official visit to Pakistan.
Now, the project aims to add 120 megawatts to the national grid, supply water to 15,000 acres of paddy fields, drinking during both the Yala and Maha season, and provide a sustainable solution to the drinking water needs of the Badulla, Monarangala and Bandarawala areas.
According to the Department of Government Information, Sri Lanka is expected to sign 5 memoranda of understanding with Iran during the Iranian president's visit to Sri Lanka starting tomorrow.
On the 28th of April 2008, the Cabinet approved the execution of a contract agreement between the Ministry of Irrigation and Water Management and Iran's Farab Energy and Water Projects to implement the Umayyad Multipurpose Development Project under an engineering, procurement and construction contract. The project includes the construction of 2 dams across Umayyad and a tributary at Valimata, a trans-basin diversion tunnel and an underground hydropower plant with a 120 megawatt installed capacity. In addition, the Umayyad Multipurpose Development Project is also expected to supply water to 15,000 acres of paddy fields during both the Yala and Maha seasons and provide a sustainable solution to the drinking water needs of the Badulla, Monoragala and Bandarawala areas. Following feasibility studies, preparation of a detailed engineering design, procurement of materials, equipment, machinery and other requirements, the project's construction commenced on the 15th of March 2010 with the support of the construction and engineering partner Farab. Funded by the Iranian government, the contract sum for the project in 2010 was estimated at around $529 million. Even though its construction was expected to conclude by the 15th of March 2015, several reasons, including internal water leakages, delayed the completion of the project. During a discussion between Minister of Power and Energy Kanchan Wijesekara and officials of Umayyad's construction and engineering partner Farab yesterday, it was revealed that the Ceylon Electricity Board has annually incurred a loss of 9.8 billion rupees due to the delays in the construction and the commissioning of the hydropower plant. However, 9 years after the initial date it was proposed to be completed, the government revealed that the project was complete and that it would be vested in the public tomorrow. The Iranian President Dr. Ibrahim Raisi, currently in Pakistan on an official visit, will visit the island tomorrow to join his Sri Lankan counterpart Ranil Wickremesinghe in a ceremony to open the Iran-funded multipurpose development project.
New Dulux Pentolite Hygiene Plus. Refreshing walls for generations.
Well, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says Sri Lanka needs to envision an education system that meets the needs of 2050 within the next 2 to 3 years. Now, addressing an event in Colombo, the President also highlighted the importance of reforming the education system in a fast-evolving world.
The biennial general meeting of the All-Island Professional Lecturers Association was held in the Nelumpokuna Mahinda Rajapaksa Theatre today under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
I remember the moment when I prepared the white paper as the Minister of Education. Most of them told us to ban tuition classes. However, the Education Secretary, the other respective officials and I did not agree to it. The duty of the Minister of Education is to provide quality education. If he can provide the necessary facilities to schools, then the decision whether to attend tuition classes or not lies with the students and their parents. However, we were unable to do that. I can remember the decision we took to provide tabs to advanced level students in 2017 to strengthen online education. However, taking the protests at that time into account, the Minister of Education withdrew that decision. Since we were unable to do that, we appreciate the initiative you took in commencing it. No one needs to question tuition classes if the Minister of Education manages to do its job. That is what I have to say for those who have concerns regarding tuition classes. Within the next 2 to 3 years, we have to hold discussions and decide on a suitable education system for Sri Lanka that meets the needs of 2050 and move forward.
The Sri Lanka Army has appointed a 7-member panel headed by a Major General to conduct an investigation into the tragic accident that claimed the lives of 7 at the Fox Hill Supercross last Sunday.
Now, the committee is tasked with investigating the details surrounding the accident and proposing safety measures to be adopted to prevent similar incidents in the future.
The Fox Hill Supercross last Sunday was marred by a tragic incident which claimed the lives of 7 people. A collision between 2 cars at the Pine Tree corner sent one of them sliding off the track and into a group gathered beside the track. The crash resulted in the deaths of 4 officials and 3 spectators, among whom was an 8-year-old girl. A further 21 people received injuries from the incident and are currently receiving treatment at the Diathalawa Base Hospital and the Badulla General Hospital. Last night, following post-mortem examinations, the remains of the deceased were handed over to the care of their families. The drivers of the two cars involved in the incident were taken into custody yesterday by the Diyatalava police while they were receiving treatment at the Diyatalava base hospital. The Bandaravela Magistrates Court ordered that they be further remanded until the 30th of April pending the police investigation. Meanwhile today, Army spokesman Major General Rasika Kumara stated that the Army, one of the event's co-organisers, has appointed a 7-member panel headed by a Major General to investigate the incident.
Following the regrettable incidents that occurred at the Fox Hill Supercross at Diyatalava, the Sri Lanka Army has taken decisive action by appointing a special investigation committee which comprising 7 senior officers chaired by a Major General. And also this committee is tasked with thoroughly investigating the causes behind the incident and reporting its findings to the command of the Army. The special investigation committee will delve into various aspects surrounding the accident, which includes identifying the reasons behind the incident and also the individuals responsible for it, and is assessing the safety protocols for the spectators as well as evaluating the quality of the track and proposing necessary preventive measures to avoid similar accidents in the future.
The Army also released a statement to the effect that neither the Army nor Sri Lanka Automobile Sport, the event's other co-organizer, were involved in the musical event Fox Hill Journey held at a hotel in Bandaravela on the night of the accident. The event, which was held on the night of the 21st of April despite the tragedy earlier in the day, had drawn criticism on social media platforms.
Now, the National People's Power officially suggested a series of dates for the proposed debate between opposition leader Sajith Premadasa and leader of the National People's Power, Andra Kumara Dissanayake.
The NPP's proposal comes hot off the heels of heated exchanges between the NPP and the SJB on concerns related to a proposed debate on the economic philosophies and agendas of the two parties.
Now, in a response, the leader of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, expressed his readiness to debate the leader of the NPP, while also highlighting the need to organize a debate between the economic councils of the two parties.
Earlier in March this year, the country's main opposition party, the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, challenged the Economic Council of the National People's Power for a public debate with the SJB's Economic Council. While expressing eagerness to debate, the NPP issued a counter-proposal to the SJB and requested a debate between the leader of its party, Andra Kumara Dissanayake, and the leader of the SJB, Sajith Premadasa. The challenge made by the NPP for a public debate between the leaders of the two parties was later accepted by the SJB. Subsequently, executive member of the NPP, former MP Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, dispatched a letter to the General Secretary of the SJB, Ranjit Maduma Bandara, suggesting several dates for the debate. The dates suggested by the NPP were the 7th, 9th, 13th and 14th of May. Meanwhile, through the same letter, the NPP outlined that the lack of an official response by the SJB on the debate could lead to a wrong impression regarding the debate. The NPP further stated that the duration, venue and broadcasting rights of the debate could be discussed after finalizing the date for the debate. However, the NPP also underscored that if the SJB does not concur with the proposed debate dates, they are obliged to promptly communicate their unavailability to the NPP. After considering the proposals contained in the letter, the SJB voiced their opinions on the matter today.
The
NPP statement outlines several dates for the party leaders' debate. Those dates were chosen by them unilaterally. However, they have not made any reference to the proposed debate between the two economic councils. Our concern is whether Andra Dissanayake will speak on all sectors of the country, including economics, health, education and agriculture. We hope to arrive at an agreement after discussing all matters relating to the debate with Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa during the upcoming parliamentary sessions. Sajith Premadasa is eager to debate. However, he will not be able to debate on any of the dates suggested due to the commitments previously made. We can't debate on any of the dates suggested. We can discuss the dates and other relevant matters at the parliamentary premises.
Meanwhile, speaking at another edition of the Sakwila program, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa expressed his readiness to debate the NPP party leader.
අපේ පක්ෂයේ නලින් බණ්ඩාර මැතිතුමා ආර්ථික ශේෂ්ත්‍රයේ
විවාදයකට එන්නේ කියලා සහෝදරයෝ කණ්ඩායමකට අභියෝග කළා.
SJB MP Nalin Bandara challenged the Economic Council of the NPP for a public debate with the Economic Council of our party. However, now they have dodged the proposed debate between the Economic Councils and have proposed a debate between the party leaders. They have also sent in possible dates for the debate. We are ready to hold both debates in May. We have no problem in having both of these debates within the next month. However, I urge them not to cover away and evade the debates. Accept both these challenges.
හැබැයි මේවයින් පැන යන්න එපා. නිවටයෝ වෙන්න එපා. කොන්දක් නැති පුද්ගලයෝ බවට පත් වෙන්න එපා. අභියෝග දෙකම බාර ගන්න.
National organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Namal Rajapaksa, says his party is ready to implement the system change that was demanded by the country's youth during the recent past. Addressing an event in Kurunegala today, Rajapaksa said that Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna will take on the responsibility of the future generation of the country.
The Kurunegala district office of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna parliamentarian Johnston Fernando, which was torched during the struggle in May 2022, was reopened following renovations today under the patronage of its party leader, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Conspirators attempted to topple our government. They destroyed the tombstone of my grandfather. They torched our residences. There is no point in hating them. They were incited by a group of people. Children are stubborn. However, as adults, we have a responsibility to teach them the reality. We have to provide them with an opportunity to see the world with an open mind. During the recent past, the most popular slogan among the youth was system change. Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna is ready to implement that system change. We affirm that the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna will take on the responsibility of protecting the future of your children.
Well, the Foreign Affairs Ministry today revealed that the Consular Affairs Division of the ministry will be relocated to the new premises on the 16th floor of Suhurupaya in Battaramula with effect from the 2nd of May. Now, accordingly, all consular services will be provided to the public at the new office premises during regular office hours from Monday to Friday between 8:30 a.m. and 4:15 p.m. As a result, document authentication services provided by the Consular Affairs Division in Colombo will be temporarily suspended for the public on the 29th and 30th of April to facilitate the transition of the electronic document authentication system to the new premises at the Suhurupaya complex. Applications for document authentication can be submitted to the regional officers as usual, but the authenticated documents will be delivered to the applicants only on the 2nd of May. Now, the Foreign Affairs Ministry advised the general public to submit any urgent application for authentication to the Consular Division in Colombo or any regional consular officers by 4:15 p.m. on the 26th of April to avoid any inconveniences.
And 2 individuals were killed in Morogahayena today as a result of a shootout between the deceased and the police.
Meanwhile, in Bovalana Nigambo, an individual was apprehended by police while in possession of over 16 million rupees worth of crystal methamphetamine.
Well, that is a look at more news across the island in brief.
General Manager of Sri Lanka Railways HMKW Bandara passed away this morning due to a sudden illness. According to hospital sources, he succumbed to his illness while being rushed to the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital. 2 individuals were killed in Morogahayena after police opened fire at a 3-wheeler. The 2 assailants had opened fire at the police officers, prompting them to return fire. During the ensuing shootout, the assailants had been wounded by police fire. Reportedly, they died upon admission to the Horana Base Hospital. In the meantime, an individual was apprehended by police in the Bovanala area in Nigambo while in possession of over a kilogram of crystal methamphetamine estimated to be worth over 16 million rupees. Police also discovered a revolver, live ammunition as well as 59 grams of heroin in the suspect's possession. In other local news, the police special task force conducted a raid on an illicit cannabis plantation spanning over 6 acres located within the Yala National Park. During the operation, 2 suspects were taken into police custody along with a shipment of dried cannabis and several firearms in their possession.
Welcome back. We take you to business news. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has requested the Attorney General to consider instituting criminal proceedings against 8 pyramid-type prohibited schemes operating in Sri Lanka. Accordingly, the Central Bank has carried out investigations to ascertain whether the entities Bitcoin App or Sunbird Foundation, Fastwin, Frugo Online, Genesis Business School or Era Miracle, Isimaga International, Ledger Block, Questinet and Ride to 3 Freedom have violated the provisions of the Banking Act. According to the examination conducted, the Central Bank has determined that the 8 relevant entities and directors, founders and its promoters have conducted prohibited schemes in contravention of the provisions of the Banking Act. Pursuant to the Central Bank, the punishments for such offences include imprisonment for a period not exceeding 3 years or a fine not exceeding 1 million rupees or both imprisonment and fine. If the offence is committed willfully, relevant personnel are liable to rigorous imprisonment for a term not less than 3 years and not more than 5 years and a fine of 2 million rupees or twice the aggregate amount in Sri Lankan currency revealed or divulged to have been received from the participants in the said scheme.
Well, Air Seychelles, the national carrier of the Republic of Seychelles and Sri Lankan Airlines, have announced a new code-sharing partnership. Now, this partnership aims to expand the number of destinations accessible to customers flying between the capital of Seychelles and Colombo. Now, over 20 destinations are included at the partnership, including the much-requested hotspots of Sydney and Melbourne in Australia, as well as other popular stops in India, Thailand, Malaysia and Singapore. Passengers of Sri Lankan Airlines will also be able to fly from Colombo to the capital of Seychelles with the activation of this code-share partnership. Now, the code-share agreement allows Air Seychelles and Sri Lankan Airlines to place their code on each other's flights, enabling passengers to continue their journey conveniently using a single booking to the final destination. Additionally, passengers can book their travels with both airlines through online travel agencies and local travel agents. Flights under the code-share agreement are available for booking now and will begin operating in April, later of this month.
And global oil prices slipped today after a short-lived boost from stronger economic data out of Europe as the market weighed the potential fallout from any fresh U.S. sanctions on Iran's oil exports. Global benchmark Brent crude oil futures were down 51 cents or 0.6% at $86.49 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures fell 56 cents or 0.7% to $81.34. Both benchmarks had jumped $1 earlier after data showed that overall business activity in the Eurozone expanded at its fastest pace in nearly a year this month, led by a buoyant recovery in the bloc's dominant service industry. The U.S. Senate will begin considering a foreign aid package that includes sanctions on Iran's oil exports that targets ships, ports and refineries that process Iranian oil. Investors this week are awaiting the release of U.S. gross domestic product figures and March personal consumption expenditure data to assess the trajectory of monetary policy.
Well, following an outstanding knock of 195 not out in the third one-day international against South Africa, captain of the Sri Lankan women's 2020 international team, Chamari Athapaththu, reclaimed the top spot in the latest ICC women's one-day international batting rankings released today. Now, Athapaththu's 9th one-day international century hit the highest score in a successful chase in women's one-day international, helped her overtake England's all-rounder Natalie Brunt as the world's #1 women's batter in the 50-over format.
Well, that wraps up tonight's edition of First to 9. We'll see you again tomorrow at the same time. I'm Indiveri Amuatta.
Mahesh Johnny, thank you for joining. Have a good night.